still trying to steal my agenda. Oh, you don't have the agenda.
I don't think I do.
Here we go. It's part of it.
You were looking at it.
No, I was going through Phil's stuff. I can handle it. Yeah, it's probably on the table.
Yeah. From Paul.
Yeah. Please do have the agenda.
Yep.
I apologize for the tardiness of the beginning of this meeting, but let's call the regular Cumberland Fire Committee meeting to order. Let's begin with a roll call. Commissioner Hayden has an excused absence today. Commissioner Hogan?
Here.
I'm here. Commissioner Cuccione?
President.
Commissioner Picone? Here. Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Santoro? Thank you. If we could now stand for a moment of silence and pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any general announcements, gentlemen? Okay. Moving on. Approval of the minutes from 3/26. Is there motion to approve by Commissioner Santoro? Is there a second?
I will second.
By Commissioner Cuccione. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner
I will be
Hogan.
abstaining, as I was sick for that meeting.
Yes, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes from 3/26, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? One.
Thank you.
So that's a 5-0 vote with one abstaining. Communications. Do we have anything? No. All right. Yes, we need to put that up. Solicitor Morris.
Well, I heard that maybe members of the committee wanted to talk about this communication. You can certainly say what it is, and you could put it on your next meeting agenda if you'd like to discuss it, but that's as far as I'd go tonight, is just identifying the document.
Okay, thank you very much. So a communication that we all received is from Dennis Hoyle out of the Office of the Auditor General, requesting that it's a formal request for a deficit reduction plan. And we will put this on our next meeting. Which is next week. So if you have any questions about that, take the week to write them down so we can discuss them, okay? Thank you. Finance Committee update. Commissioner Picone?
So we met last week. We went through another draft of the budget, and we're getting ready. We have another meeting tomorrow to submit a proposed budget to the board for next week. We're gonna have our budget hearings. There's some savings, it looks like, with the Safer Grant firefighters that should cut down on some of the overtime. So it's looking better. Hopefully, we can make some more changes before next week and realize more savings.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, thank you very much. Chief, your report from March?
Good evening. As illustrated by the runs, we had 388 response runs in the month of March. The move to the public safety building started today. Our section, the Keltron system, came up and operational as it was supposed to. There was some other initial issues getting going this morning. The next big changeover is tomorrow morning with the radio system. Right now, they're running on backup radios. Tomorrow will be the switchover for the regular radio system. There's some issues that came up already in the enclosure itself. They found there was a lot of echoing because of the construction of the walls, so they brought in some sound panels yesterday, which seemed to help dramatically with the echo that was going on in there. That's outside of us. Our section seems to be working okay so far. A desk. And the dispatch.
So there's no problems with the drawers opening or closing?
Not yet.
Okay,
No.
that's great.
And the fob to get in works also.
I'm sorry?
The fob to get in the door works also. So
Even better.
I'm not locked out.
Will we be having a grand opening for the desk?
Yeah.
To see the
Yeah.
desk?
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
As soon as everything is up and operational, we'll have everybody in to look at it.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One of the things that I put on my report is the mini bus that we received, or that we purchased from the RIDE RIPTA organization a couple of years ago. Hasn't been used as frequently as I thought it was going to be used. I scoured a couple of sites at the direction of Ted Vecchio from Ralco, and those sites have a range of between $7,500 and $12,000 for the year in the condition of our vehicle. So I have it in front of the board if they would be interested in generating some revenue by putting that for sale. I can't guarantee that it'll sell for that, but that would be about an asking price that could happen if you choose to go that route.
Okay.
We've used it a few times. There are others around. If we should decide to get rid of it, there are other departments around that have similar style buses. If we needed one, we could impose on them to use theirs. So that's up for your consideration. The budget is a continuing live document, and the VFIS insurance quotes, that has been finalized with the finance director. Engine 5 and Engine 1 was discussed tonight, so those two things have been taken care of. The other issue that you just spoke of on the communications, that Auditor General letter was emailed to myself, to the finance director, to the chairperson, but I don't think it went to an address that I'm not sure the chairperson's using. So it was brought to the entire board tonight that the Auditor General has been patient with us during the duration of the prior contract. They're cognizant that it is up for negotiations now, and as you can see in the demand, they want a fiscal recovery system. So this isn't something that can just be pushed to the wayside, because those of us that have been to the Auditor General's office know that it's a timely fashion that they're looking for, and it's a solid result that they're looking for, or intervention will be instituted by them. So, any questions?
Yes. Ms. Morris, would we have to create a resolution to sell that bus?
Yes.
Could we, can that be done by adding it to tonight's agenda by a majority vote?
No, but
under
you could
Robert's
do it
rules?
next Tuesday.
Okay. Can we, yeah,
That's,
makes sense.
you got a lot of possibilities this month. You're
keep
meeting
forgetting
3
that.
more times.
I keep forgetting. Thank you. Thank you.
Nothing else?
I'm good.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Chief. Finance report? favorite part of the meeting.
I don't have a lot of new things to report. We are in the middle of a spending freeze. That's going very well. Everybody has been pretty good about knowing that we aren't spending any money, and if anybody really needs anything, they're coming to us to ask. They're going to, well, you weren't here, so they went to Phil, they're going to the Finance Committee. We originally had planned on having a short meeting tonight to approve some other possible purchases, but Beth ended up not coming in today and wasn't able to put that list together. We are at about 90% of our total income. Patrick told me today after fourth quarter taxes, we're at 98% collection.
Wow, that's
So-
amazing.
So usually we hit 98%, just not quite yet. So we pretty much, that's as good as
That's
it's going to get
fantastic.
before the end of the year.
Wow.
And we're at 75% of our expenses at the end of March. So if we can stay within 25% before the end of the year, that would be great. But we'll see. That's 75% overall. So
Okay.
we expect some, overtime to increase probably in May and June with the use of the extra vacation and sick time. And you never know what can happen for the next. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Just that we expect maybe some OT to increase in May and June, but other than that, no other unanticipated expenses, hopefully. Does anybody have any questions? I know there were some questions regarding the commissioner's report, but everybody has to realize that the spending freeze didn't go into effect on March 1st, so there are a lot of bills that got paid that were already purchases that had been made prior to that spending freeze. Any questions?
I don't have.
Okay.
Motion to accept?
Motion to accept the chief's report?
Both.
Motion to accept the chief's report by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pacone. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting the chief's report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. And is there a motion on the table for accepting the finance report?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Santoro. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting the finance report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Okay. This is a resolution that will allow us to hire Steve Greenhall as part-time finance director at an annual salary of $32,000. Before I go to the resolution, and I don't know if I can do this, the Personnel Subcommittee, Paul, do you want to make a statement or anything?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. So we had one applicant, Stephen Greenhaw. He is a fantastic applicant compared to what we had in the past. I think he would be the ideal person to fill this position. And the committee interviewed Mr. Greenhaw for probably 40 minutes. And I was personally very impressed. His experience, he's worked with state EMA. He spent 12 years working with Ms. Hoyle, or Mr. Hoyle, Dennis Hoyle, with the Auditor General. So he's very familiar with the processes that we're going through. And I think it would, the subcommittee met and voted 3-0, unanimous, to recommend hiring Mr. Greenhaw for the position of Finance Director. I am recommending that we approve, I'm not sure how we're going to find the money, but some time of overlap for him to meet with Diane when she has time, and she's incredibly busy. He's very flexible. He's retired. He's just kind of hanging out at home. And he went to Bryan College, too, so he's a great candidate. My alma mater.
Thank
So the committee strongly recommends him.
Okay, thank you very much. So in terms of the resolution, whereas the Cumberland Fire Committee is in need of services for a permanent municipal finance professional to replace our current finance director, who will be retiring on June 1st, 2019. The Cumberland Fire Committee has determined that the services of this position will require 15 to 20 hours per week, as well as attendance at the Fire Committee monthly meetings, special meetings, and budget hearings. And whereas the Personnel Subcommittee has recommended Stephen Greenhall, how do you pronounce your last name?
Greenhall. Hall.
Greenhall?
Yes, Greenhall.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Be it resolved that the Cumberland Fire District will hire Stephen Greenhall as Finance Director at an annual salary of $32,000 for 15 to 20 hours per week. Is there any discussion?
When would this be effective? Do we have a start date for him?
Well, I think that's going to be fluid with Diane. I think the official start date will be June 1st. But I think he's willing to probably come in and meet with Diane to figure out the transition period before that time. And we haven't discussed any kind of compensation for that. My feeling is he'd probably be very flexible in terms of that. I think the official start date would be Diane retires May 30th, right? 2019, unfortunately. And Stephen starts June 1st, officially.
On the resolution, it says Diane is retiring on June 1st.
Oh. Okay.
June 3rd is the holiday.
Oh, okay. So, do we need to amend that?
No, June 1st can be a retirement date.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we can work that out, hopefully. Maybe there'll be some magic money, you know, the bake sale might be able to pull in enough. Right,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Hogan.
as Commissioner Santoro talked about Mr. Greenhall, I also was there present for the interview. He seems very competent. Diane was there. He also, I don't think, I mean, everybody's looking at this salary of $32,000. We also talked to him about, I think he's more interested in the benefit aspect of it than he is in the salary aspect of it, because he is receiving compensation from his retirement. And he seemed to be very receptive to basically the financial end wasn't as important to him as the medical coverage. So, as Commissioner Santoro stated, I think it's going to be a good deal, because that $32,000, I think, is going to include the whole package. He's going to take less salary, and we're going to offset it with his contribution towards health coverage, and then what we offer, and then it looks like it's, you know, so I'm guessing if it's an $8,000 health coverage, then it'll be like $24,000 in salary. So it's not going to exceed that $32,000 one way or another, as far as I can, and Commissioner Santoro can
agree.
attest to that. So I just wanted to make sure that's on the record, so we don't have backlash later on saying, you know, that where did we get this from? So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Diane, do you want to comment? Diane, do you want to comment? You're the expert. I trust whatever you say, so.
No, I was impressed with him as well. I think he would be a good fit, and I think he would fit in well with the office staff
All right,
and work well with Bill and the
Madam
chief.
Chairperson,
Thank you,
question.
Diane.
Commissioner Tiani.
On section 1, I see where it says an annual salary of $32,000 for 15-20 hours per week. Now, it sounds to me there's going to be some flexibility in this, so, I mean, which doesn't bother me. Is it going to be like a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 20, or do we just say 15-20? And I don't know the situation, to suggest one way or the other.
I kind of like it, I kind of like the way it is. Go ahead, Diane.
It's just a very hard number to predict, because what I did explain to him, though, is I am in the office at least 2 days, sometimes more if needed. I'm almost always available through email, through phone calls, so you tend to be on call on the days that you're not in the office, and he was fine with that. So I told him there would be months that there would be 60 hours, there would be months that there would be 90 hours. It's very hard to predict.
Question to create a problem, I just want an
Yeah.
understanding of what our
Right.
understanding is, that's
It's
all.
an average, because I keep track of all of my hours. I have a timesheet I fill out every week, and it's really for my own benefit. Nobody's ever asked to see it, but anybody can see them if they want. And I average out every month, and every month is different. It's 70, it's 80, it's 60, it's 90. So, and he understands that. There are certain times of the year, it's like right now, it's much busier, and then it will slow down a little bit. So, as close to that as possible. I think you can monitor it if you find that he's spending
No.
less time or more time.
As I said, I posed the question only
No,
for...
I'm just saying, as a committee, not to you, but as a committee, you can track it too and see how it's going.
Any further discussion on this resolution?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Commissioner Santoro, was the second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hogan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's go to a vote. All in favor of accepting the resolution hiring Stephen Greenlaw as the finance director, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. And if you're watching, Mr. Greenlaw, welcome to the club. All right, is there any public input? All right, there is no public input, so at this point in time, I'm looking to vote to go into executive session to discuss the items of business cited in Rhode Island General Law, Section 42-46-5A, 1 through 9, as related to the collective bargaining agreement.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner
Make a
Hogan.
motion to go into executive session?
Commissioner Hogan has made a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Santoro. Any discussion? All in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0.